We love eating them, but now it's their turn. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
What?
Okay, not wrong
Weak.
though.
Yeah, not
No.
great, but at least I guess that one at least fits for this horrible movie directed by the director of Sinkhole. This is episode 151 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is Zombie Crawler? Crawler?
I don't know.
With a
I'm
crawler?
I'm the dude who shits himself to death.
Oh, jeez. I'm
Your Uncle Luther.
excuse you. I'm shit, I can't remember the rat's name. Beverly or something.
Probably. This week we watched 2016's Attack of the Killer Donuts, a movie that was promising.
Allegedly a movie.
How dare you speak ill will from the director of MILF
Oh,
and Transmorphers Fall of Man.
I only respect DILFs. Okay.
there you go.
What the, I haven't watched it yet. Katie got me the DVD for Christmas. I'm very upset that this is the same director of Avalanche Sharks.
I thought you were gonna
Oh
say MILFs.
no.
No, I already had MILFs.
Wheeler. I'm sure Avalanche Sharks is
This poster for
definitely.
Sinkhole looks so stupid, and it's on Tubi, and I'm gonna watch it.
I mean,
After,
I wonder if it's
after a massive sinkhole swallows a nearby town, a school bus filled with students is dropped deep underground. After the crash, the students realize the bus is hanging precariously against the side of a sinkhole. This movie is an hour and a half.
I kind of feel it kind of gives off Derailed vibes to me.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Can't be bad. It's the same person that directed Sinbad and the War of the Furies.
Oh my god. The furries?
F-U-R... Oh, starring John Morrison from the WWE.
Of
So,
course, why not?
I'm in. Also from Russell Madness that we still have not watched.
Wow. Also a bunch of Christmas movies, but also something called Sugar Baby Murder.
Yeah, it checks out.
You know, like a sugar baby.
What a nightmare. I stand
So
by my statement from last week that movies are bad.
yeah, movies are bad. I'm this movie it's like really weird to me that we did this back to back with I already forgot what that other movie.
Slaw.
Oh, Slaw.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man 2,
Spider-Man 2.
Homecoming.
Spider-Man 3? Because, like, not only, again, I said this in the last episode, both of these movies have a prevalent amount of farting. This one more so than the last one, to be fair. But also we have a weird theme with the detectives. So in the last one we had Detective Hooch and Detective Turner, and in this one we have Officer Hammerstein and Officer Rogers. Like,
Yeah.
what? Also, there's people named Martha in both of these movies.
So it means next week, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Is there farting in that one?
Probably. That sounds like something Zack Snyder would do.
I mean,
Alright, I mean, I know I don't have to ask. I assume everybody hated this.
it wasn't
Yeah.
great.
It was bad.
It was pretty boring and also had the same problem that Dead Sushi had for me, where like I really liked anytime that they made they made like, you know, practical donuts. I thought they looked awesome. Like I want to have one. But then for the most part, it was just CG. It's kind of like, to me, I felt like, I know that I didn't like Dead Sushi, but I liked Dead Sushi more than this because at least there was other cool things that happened in it. Nothing cool happens in this movie. It mostly focuses around like this dumb main character Johnny and his high school friend Michelle, which actually I was very surprised to see that Kayla Compton is like the main female lead because she's like in the newest seasons of The Flash as like one of the main characters. So I was like shocked to see somebody that I recognized.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are in like popular movies in this somehow.
So I mean, like obviously this was supposed to be like a spoof funny thing, but like it just wasn't. I don't think it was funny at all.
My issue is like all of movies like this that are like Attack of the like killer whatever food are like, I mean, they're just ripping off Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but none of them ever
are good.
Yeah, like they can't. They're just not like they can't. It's like they don't understand the point of Return of the Killer Tomatoes was that it was like supposed to be goofy and fun, and it's like, well, this isn't like a serious horror movie. Like, it's just
they just think goofy means fart.
Yeah, or like
jokes,
I don't know.
Or
like it's just like
stupid cops.
I think that it's like the same kind of shit that like Killer Sofa did, where Killer Sofa took itself too seriously, and I feel like this kind of does that too. Not to like the same extent, but it's because like the plot of this is basically Return of the Killer Tomatoes, where you have like a mad scientist that's like ends up creating like these killer food, and then it just wreaks havoc. But like it's just not good, and like Katie said, like the physical donuts when they're like physical effects are like I liked them, but because they look like the condom from Killer Condom.
Yeah.
And like when they're physical, I was like, okay, that's kind of fun. But the CGI ones where they bounce with a bouncing noise, and then like the weird fucking the vocals, like it's just
the squeaky's funny.
Like that's fine. I like the effect of it though looks horrible.
Yeah, really bad.
Like I would much rather them have the shit of like Killer Tomatoes where they just like roll at people, you know, than this just like bouncing bullshit.
I did enjoy whenever like the donuts were attacking people and it was very clear that somebody off frame was just like throwing fake donuts at people. Like that was pretty funny, but like no.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when it's like something like that, I was like, that's funny because it's just bad, but like in a fun way. But like when I don't know, whenever it was CGI, I was like, this just doesn't look good. Like it looked so cartoony compared to like the real people, so it like doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I assume Kit loved this, so let's get to the plot. 5 stars, right?
So I had mentioned it before we recorded the last episode. Like, it's just a nothing film. Like it happened, and I don't remember anything about it. And it was just so bland. Like, I can't even waste the energy on hating it. You know? It's one of those films where it's just like, all right, that was bad, but whatever.
That's how I felt about, like, Mermaid, like, the other week, where it was just like for me, that movie wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It just kind of was there. It was just, like, a passable, like, ghost movie. This
passable
like
is a strong word.
Well, you know what I mean. Like it was a movie that like you said, like it happened and like basically immediately I was like, okay, well, I don't really remember most of what happened in it because it's just like by the numbers. I guess that's mostly what I mean when I say like passable. Like it's just it's a movie.
Aggressively forgettable.
Yeah, and like that's
nothing of note happens in it.
This movie was basically like if you've seen any Killer Blank. Attack of the Killer Blank, like you've seen this movie. You don't need to watch it.
My main takeaway is why weren't people like, why do these donuts have teeth? Why didn't anyone notice that the donuts had so many teeth?
Can you imagine biting into that and like
Oh,
You get a
no,
mouthful of
I don't
tooth.
no,
We're
no,
my
oh
God.
my god.
Get-
I can't do this again.
That's the only reason I brought it up.
Mm-mm.
All right, let's burn through this shit.
Let's talk about these doughy teeth.
Oh no. Okay.
Doughy teeth don't sound too bad.
Ugh. I'm
Deep
Just-
fried tooth. Anyone?
gross. Ugh. I can't. I did really want donuts though.
Yeah, donuts sound pretty good right now.
They're the best.
I'll even teeth.
You what?
I said I'll even take some with teeth. Honestly, that's how good a donut sounds.
Gross. So, okay. So Johnny, who's the main character, wakes up to go to work, and his mom, who doesn't really look that much older than him, makes him just a big plate of bacon. And she's mad because he did not mow the lawn, and he is kind of like, well, I have to go to work, see ya. But then he does this thing that is gross, where he's just like, who's the prettiest mom on all of Shady Grove? He basically is trying to butter her up because he wants $50 to basically spend on his girlfriend, Veronica. And his mom is kind of like, Veronica is a piece of shit. Like, I think you should date your childhood friend, Michelle. And he's kind of just like, no, she's just a friend.
Well, I wonder where this is gonna go.
Right. He is missing what he refers to as a tablet, but it is definitely just a laptop. He can't find his tablet, and the mom is like, "Oh, go chunk. Oh my God, go check with Uncle Luthor, Lex Luthor."
Yeah.
Because he is a misunderstood genius, I guess. He lives in their basement, but he has like a secret lab down there where he is doing experiments on a rat. He has made a reanimation serum that he has injected into a dead rat, and the dead rat comes alive, but it's like evil rat, and it's like biting on him, and it ends up getting loose. And I did kind of like where the uncle was like, yeah, okay, cool, I did it. And then he's got like a bite on his arm, and then the bite just like squirts blood. I thought was pretty funny. That was like the only practical effect in this whole movie, essentially, though. There's like no cool kills.
At least they
Like-
made it a good one.
Nobody, yeah.
I think the dude shitting himself to death was pretty cool. Oh,
Okay,
cool effect.
well-
It was like that like SNL thing, like when they vomit. Like where they just have like the hose in their hand. It was basically that, but like
Yeah,
behind his
yeah.
leg.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. See, like, that would have been funny if they maybe made it a little bit more obvious or something. Like, again, like we said, this movie just is kind of like trying to be too, like, highbrow or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If he launched up in the air, if his poo stream was so strong,
Yes.
he just flew away.
Oh man.
Like a jetpack.
Yeah.
All right. He finds his laptop. What's his name? Johnny finds his laptop and leaves. So we see Michelle is getting dropped off at work at the Dandy Donuts place, and she's arguing with her brother because he has a business where he fixes electronics for people, but like doesn't actually know how to fix electronics, and she does it for him. And like the scene is so long of them just like arguing about it, and essentially she just like gets out of the car and is like, I'll do it after work, and it's really pointless. Johnny shows up finally to work at Dandy Donuts, and he's complaining about how his computer's not working. She does some tippity taps and like hacks it, and now it's fine.
Tippity taps.
Yeah.
She
little
basically
tap,
she,
taparoo.
like barely like touches the
She like
the keys,
presses
and it's
the
like, it's
power
good now.
button. Yeah, here you go. Then they are talking about, they like go to take out the trash together and are talking about like how the donut shop barely gets any business and she doesn't know how it stays open. Then Johnny's girlfriend Veronica shows up with some other dude, And she basically comes out and like asks him for money, and he's like, "Who is that guy?" And she's like, "Oh, he's just giving me a ride." And Michelle is kind of like, "It's pretty obvious that like she's just using you, but it's fine."
It's like so like insanely obvious too.
Yeah.
Like I know that's the
Because,
joke, but it was like she basically
like,
might as well have this dude's like dick in her mouth while she was talking to him. That's how obvious they were making it.
yeah, and she like runs up to Johnny, and then Johnny's like, "Oh yeah, my girl," and like goes to kiss her, and she like leans back and does like the smallest like lip pucker like imaginable. Pretty obvious. Uncle Luther comes into the donut shop to retrieve the laptop, and for some reason, the owner of the donut shop, Cliff, comes in and is like, "I told you you can't come in here. You gotta get out of my donut shop." We have no context for why this is happening. They're arguing and struggling and telling people to call the police, and everyone's just kind of like, "What the fuck's happening?" Some green stuff flings off of Uncle Luther and falls into the fryer. So, you know, the fryer is contaminated, even though I feel like it would probably just burn the virus.
No, that's not how it works.
Okay. I mean, I don't know science, so. Luther ends up ripping
Kit,
off
throw some
clips.
green stuff into a fryer. Tell us what happens.
Yeah.
Deal.
How did
I mean, the fair's coming up, I'm sure, so I'll have no lack of options.
We need you to like invent a reanimation serum and then throw some of it in the fryer and see what happens. I also sort of don't understand why the uncle doesn't mutate from after being bit if people mutate from the donut. Anyway.
Yeah, none of it makes sense. It's best to just not
Yeah.
try.
Luther ends up like ripping off Cliff's really terrible looking toupee and gets the laptop and runs out. Cliff is parched from their fisticuffs, and he takes a drink from the cooler, like takes a sip of soda, and then like immediately puts it back, which is really fucking gross. Because later, like, a customer takes the soda. I guess I should also mention that in the shop are a lady who is, it's her cheat day, so she's coming to get a donut, is also there. And then there's like some other guy who is just like hanging out there or whatever. So the cops roll up to the donut shop. These cops are somehow even worse than the cops from Slaw as far as being ridiculous and shenanigans goes. They have like a guy that they've arrested who they call like a serious criminal, or like, I don't remember what they called him, but they have him in the back of their car, but they stop at the donut shop anyway and are just like, "Oh, it'll be fine. We'll go in and get some donuts."
Because the one cop's just like, "Whoa, they give them to me for free because I'm a cop, so obviously we're going to get donuts."
Yeah. So they go in. The cops order coffee and donuts. One of the cops, again, immediately farts. I don't know why. The coffee gives him the farts or something. I don't know.
Gotta get some coffee farts in this movie. It's called,
I guess.
It's called comedy, Katie.
The struggle's real.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess maybe all of these movies are like, it's been a while. Maybe fart jokes are funny again.
No,
I mean, they are when you do them right.
Yeah, just not this.
Yeah, just having like, someone fart isn't funny unless it's, you know, in person.
I mean, okay.
In-person farts are funny, Katie.
Well, it is funny when, like, animals fart. Because they're like, what?
Especially when they scare themselves.
Yeah. Pop up from sleep? What the hell?
They think they're under attack and it's just their butt.
Attack of the Killer Butt. There's a film.
How is that not a movie? It's gotta be.
I'm sure.
I was literally just like looking on Letterboxd at lists of like Attack of the Killer
it.
Blanks, and that has not come up yet.
Okay.
Murderous butts.
I really hope that this is someone's first episode and they just hear us laughing about farts and butts.
So I mean, there is a movie called Butt Crack that's like about
Oh
like,
yeah,
and there's a movie called Monstered.
I've been meaning to watch Monster.
It's bad.
That's upsetting.
I mean, there's no way we're not gonna cover it if it ever pops up for
Hmm.
free, but
That was really stupid of me. I googled butt crack and went to images, but didn't specify movie.
Just looking up some butt cracks. It is kind of funny though because like I recently rewatched Splash. I don't know why. But it's on Disney Plus, and they edit the weirdest things in movies.
Oh
And so,
yeah,
like,
they
you know
edited
how-
out her butt, right?
yeah, so for the most part, Daryl Hannah is just like running around naked because she's a mermaid, right? And not only then there's like a scene where she's like walking and like they only show her butt, but they like legit just photoshopped out her butt crack in one of them, and then in one of the other scenes they just like photoshopped some hair over her butt. But it looks
what are
like
they gonna
so
do when
weird
they
and
put
obvious.
fucking Deadpool on there? Like, I don't like just leave the movies alone. Like, I just
Well,
I
I
don't
don't know.
understand.
Because that's the thing that's so weird. Like, I don't understand like who the standards are for. Because like when you look through, we talked about this on our bonus episode for Kenan Thompson, where they had like edited some stuff from Heavyweights that was really stupid. They've edited stuff from like Hocus Pocus that was really stupid, and I'm like, I don't understand. Like, okay, yeah, for sure there are some movies that we watched as kids that now I watch and I think, wow, that's really inappropriate. But like a butt crack. She's naked,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, whatever.
Kit, this is only 19 minutes long, but how have we not watched Attack of the Cyber Octopuses
I had no idea that existed. I'm
Or-
absolutely watching that.
or Attack of the Killer Turds?
Okay, I pulled up the poster for Monstered. This looks so freaking gross.
Yeah, there's no way it's good.
Well, it is a monster turd.
Attack of the Virgin Mummies.
Oh,
There's
Oh, I
so,
definitely.
that's weirdly specific.
I have seen Monster.
Oh,
I assume
no.
it's
That's
great.
all coming back. I got it from Netflix whenever Netflix still did discs. That was like
Oh
their
my
big thing before
God.
streaming.
Yeah, but like the thing the
Thank
kids
you, Netflix.
don't know about is that Netflix used to send you discs.
Only.
I remember when I had
This-
a Wii and I had to put a disc in to use Netflix.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
This
I still do want to do Killer Pinata, even though I now have lost all. Like-
Killer Pinata has a hot sauce or barbecue sauce now.
Oh,
Let's just do that instead. We'll just rate the barbecue sauce or hot sauce or whatever it is.
okay.
Yeah, I've fallen down a list of just killer blank movies. And
Well,
they all look pretty not great.
Yeah, I just see
Damn.
all of the usual suspects like that, and then like Lamageddon.
Well, there's a lot of like short movies that have amazing titles, but it's like 8 minutes long, like Attack of the Killer Bra.
y'all, I should have just stolen that Monster DVD from Netflix because it is worth $400 now.
What?
Yeah, that checks out.
How?
I mean,
People love their monsters.
I also
you should just sign up. I think Netflix still does DVDs. You could probably just sign up and see if you could get it.
See?
do they really?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess not everyone has like internet, right? So, what was happening?
We're
Farts.
we're talking about Monstered.
Yeah. So, okay. So the cops get the donuts and they get back into the car. The guy that they've arrested has asked for a donut, and they give him one that is glowing green. They don't notice. The lady who was in the donut shop earlier has gone back to her house. They've given her a entire dozen donuts instead of just her one donut, and she's really excited because she comes in wearing a negligee. I can't say it. Negligee. And she's dancing around in anticipation of eating her donuts, and she also talks to her cat, which is actually a fake cat. So weird choice there. She, twerks a little bit. Then she opens the box of donuts, and they are alive. one of them shoots out and bites her in the face. This was the donut that I loved because he was like a real donut. They made him, sculpted him. He looked amazing.
This movie needed like a gizmo is the problem. One
Yeah,
One
where
nice
was
donut.
Yeah, one little nice
Where
donut
was
that's
Nutty?
Fewer teeth.
just
Eggy
one
from Dead
big sharp
Sushi.
tooth. That's it.
Yeah. One
One
tooth.
little bottom tooth. Yeah. And
One googly eye. That's how you know he's good.
just one. That's right.
Like doesn't even look real. It's literally just like one of the like eyes that bounce all over the place when you shake it.
yeah.
It's like falling off whenever they pick him up.
God,
You
this
know
would have been
what?
so good if they'd done that. Like you gotta lean into like the absurdity. of
Honestly,
killer donuts.
Yeah, not be like, no, these things are real and they bounce at you.
Well, because then
They
yeah,
squeak.
they
At least put them
I
on a.
literally wrote they all bounce around. They're literally just bouncing off of objects in her house, like the piano, and they're like bouncing to walk, I
Yeah,
guess.
this isn't Attack of the Killer Pinballs.
Mm.
Trademark, I hope you
Nope.
suffer.
I'd watch that though. Yeah.
They also this is kind of like this is like the one thing too that made Dead Sushi better for me is that like they're like as far as like the donuts attacking and eating people, there's nothing cool that happens. They just like bite onto the people and then there's like a blood splatter and that's it. Like so they put like no effort into it really. So we switched back to the cops. The guy that they arrested, that they gave the donut to, is now farting up a storm, and he somehow has like superhuman strength because he kicks the door off of the car and gets out. He's like throwing up a bunch of green stuff. It's pretty gross.
We've all been there.
I mean,
Yeah, I've had food poisoning before.
Yeah.
me too.
Sometimes you
Not
throw
great.
up blue stuff, and that's when it gets real weird.
Yeah, that's just too much a Glacier Gatorade.
Yeah.
That is my favorite. So then we get introduced to this guy who I'm not really sure what the point of him is, except,
That's
don't
everybody
know.
in this movie.
yeah, his name is Flanagan, and we get the sense that he kind of is like the stereotype of like a new agey, like hippie type person. He comes into the donut shop and because it's like we don't know if he owns another donut shop or like why this is happening, but he comes in to show them this new donut that he's made that is like a gluten-free, vegan, fat-free, organic, he just goes on with all the words, donut. And the donut, it's like essentially one of those like, what are they called when you get the pack of donuts that's like the little baby donuts?
Like just like
A bunch of donuts.
Yeah,
No, they're baby donuts.
yeah,
Donut holes?
the mini bunch of donuts.
But they're
Oh.
no, they're not donut holes. They're like donuts
tiny pack.
or something.
A tiny pack of
Yeah,
donuts.
donut. Yeah,
Yeah,
a
donuts,
tiny
yeah.
mini pack of donuts. Donuts.
Yes.
Donut nets.
I'm just trying to add every word you guys said. And
Donuts. Get it?
you're fired.
No.
I'm looking up butt
and-
cracks on Google.
Okay, go
There's
for
some
it.
pretty solid butt cracks on there.
I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. You're not.
I'm Googling donut.
I'm
Okay.
trying to find us a way to watch Killer Nerd and Bride of the Killer Nerd so we could do those.
Jeez. So Cliff is essentially like poo-pooing at the healthy donut, and Flanagan's like, okay, well, joke's on you because they are $3.50 a piece, and I've sold dozens of them today. And Cliff is like, what? That's crazy. There's no way these can be good. So Michelle tries it, and needless to say, she really likes the donut. It's the best donut she's ever had. Then, like, somebody named Howard that we don't know shows up to
Well,
visit.
that you don't know.
Do you know Howard?
Yeah.
Oh, you from down the street?
Howard Jones from Blood Has Been Shed and
Kill
Kill
Switch
Switch Engage.
Wow, I wish, honestly. He shows up to visit Johnny's mom, for bacon mac and cheese. Probably delicious. And also, they are sleeping together. for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Checks out. I know.
Um,
It seems like them.
Yeah, I guess. Cliff, back at the his donuts. Back at the donut shop, Cliff is going to trick Flanagan into trying their sugar fat-free donut or whatever. He says it's called a douche nut, and gives it to him. Like, it literally is just a regular sugar donut. There's nothing special about it. And Flanagan feels weird about it, so he's like, why don't you just pack it to go? I'll eat it later. I have to go to hot yoga. So he leaves. Michelle hears, she's like back in the back eating some donut dough, and she hears like some noises coming from inside a cabinet, and it's one of the evil donuts. But before she can open the cabinet and like get attacked or whatever, Howard bursts in and is just like, hey guys, and they're kind of mean to him. Meanwhile, back at home, Flanagan has the donut on a tray with some lotion, and then he pulls a crystal out of his pants for some reason.
I mean, where do you keep your crystals?
Like normal places.
Yeah. Well,
I keep mine in my butt crack.
yeah.
Well, okay. I mean, you have to make sure your butt crack chakra is aligned, I guess.
Yeah.
The most important
And
one.
the crystals are warm.
Gross. I think that they were going for like a dodgeball pizza sort of joke with this, but it wasn't funny if you catch my drift. He takes a bite of the donut and spits it out because it tastes gross. And then he just like drops it on the floor and immediately gets in the shower. I was like, what the fuck? Essentially the donut ends up getting into the shower with him and just like bites him a bunch, and all we really see is like blood splatter again. Meanwhile, all of the donuts that were back in the back of the cop car have come to life, and they have escaped also. The cops are passed out from the fart, I guess. I don't know. They're like passed out, and then they like wake up and are like, oh, what's going on? The perp's gone. And I was like, what's happening with you guys? So
I don't remember any of this.
they're essentially like, oh no, the perp's gone. Let's go find him. And the guy's like, oh, we need to get the door. And he's just like, forget the door. And they like take off. I don't know. Michelle and Johnny are sort of talking about how like bad Howard's home life is for some reason. And then they also talk about Veronica, where Michelle's like, Veronica is like a piece of shit, and Johnny doesn't want to basically deal with it. Then it shows them doing a bunch of donut shop stuff, and like for a donut shop that doesn't really do any business, they're making a lot of donuts. They keep like packing like donut boxes, but then also whenever they're like putting out trays of donuts, there's like one donut on the trays. Like I don't really understand what's going on here.
Some that's how donut shops work, Katie. One at a time.
I mean, I guess so.
They're not donuts shops.
Yeah, this is the donut
Donut.
shop. One a
Just
day,
You get
One
one nut.
made of dough.
Okay. Then like a group of dude bros come in, and this scene is really unnecessary long also, where they basically just like being mean and hassling Michelle. So Johnny comes out to like defend her, and they like get in a fight or whatever. And Cliff is like, these guys are customers, and like fires Michelle for whatever reason. And then Johnny's mad about it, so he quits and leaves. And
All bosses are bad, but this guy's pretty bad.
yeah, he also like doesn't care that they quit. And then like on top of everything, he gives the boy, like the dude bros, like free donuts and drinks and stuff, even though they're being like total shitheads to him too.
Like they're
And now
they're literally on the ground after being like based, and they're just like, "But she's a dumb bitch."
Yeah.
And he's just
then
like, "Yeah, you're right."
Fired. Yeah, like what the fuck?
They should burn that
So-
store down.
Yeah, they should.
Do like that
Um,
video that was going around at like the grocery store or whatever. People lit a bunch of fireworks on accident, and the guy just walked away.
I mean, that's what I would do. There's no way. No one's paid enough to deal with that. They should just have everybody leave the store and just let it burn down.
Every store.
Johnny offers to give Michelle a ride, and they have a moment and kiss, but Howard interrupts them. Then I'm not really sure what's going on here, but the evil donut like comes out of the cabinet and is somehow launching a bunch of the donuts out of the fryer, but they're coming out evil. Like I don't know how he was doing that. He was like jumping on a button, but then like donuts were flying out. So I don't know.
Magic.
Yeah. So Johnny drives away. They're driving down the street, the same dirt road for a really long time. And they basically end up hitting the guy that ate the tainted donut that was like arrested earlier. They hit him full force. Then they get out to check to make sure to like see if he's alive or whatever, and he is looking really fucking gross. Like he's kind of zombie-ish. He's like farting and throwing up and like having explosive diarrhea. And Johnny is kind
That's
of
a
like,
mood.
yeah, Johnny's kind of like, is he a zombie? And they're like, you're stupid. No, he's not a zombie. And then he has like really excessive diarrhea and like dies.
Also
He
a
has like
mood.
diarrhea and he's like, much better. And then he just like dies. And Howard and Michelle are essentially just like, okay, let's go. And Johnny's like, don't you find any of this stuff weird at all? And they were like, no, let's leave. Okay. Cliff finally comes upon the evil donuts and he gets eaten pretty fast. You know,
Yeah, good for
Yeah.
him. Get out of
yeah.
here.
Don't want to deal with it. The dude bros are now like hanging out. One of the guys is like, I'm hungry. So they eat some donuts. And the donuts like start just like bouncing all over the place. One of the guys gets his arm bitten off. The other guy, one of the donuts like shoots acid on like onto his dick. And he got acid dicked, I guess. And
Not a good filling for donuts. The
No.
acid.
Yeah, it's probably not
Stick with
a
jelly.
not the best seller, but I bet it does pretty well.
you know, everyone has their own tastes. So eventually they just end up getting eaten and died. But again, nothing else really happens besides that. Then Johnny's group is still driving. They pull up on Veronica and her actual boyfriend, who are just getting busy in the car. And they get out, and Veronica basically is just like, we were never together. I was using you for money. Like, you suck. You're a loser. Being like really mean to him. So they leave.
And he's still like, wait, what? I thought we were a
Yeah,
couple.
Oh my god.
He really doesn't get it. Then
We should state that all of this stuff we've talked about is also supposed to be jokes.
oh yeah, for sure. Then I did think it was kind of funny every time they pulled up to Veronica and her like guy's car, the like worst rock music was like blaring. It was kind of funny. Okay, so they leave, but then they find all of the donuts that are still like hopping around, the dude bros that are dead, and they're like, oh my god, what is that? And Johnny's like, they're killer donuts. Is that it?
End of movie.
Yeah, right. So then they're like, oh no, like that's weird. The donuts are causing all of this. We need to go warn, the lady who was twerking in front of her donuts earlier. So they drive to her house and they can't get in. So Michelle is gonna like climb up and like go in. They're gonna break in essentially. And there's a guy across the street who sees them breaking in. So he gets his girlfriend or whoever, Martha, to call the cops. And like the whole joke with them is that they're doing these like, he's like really old and she's young, and they're doing these like ridiculous like role playing jokes kind of shit that's just like
All very good.
not unique at all. Michelle like breaks in, she finds the lady all eaten and stuff. Then the guys do end up getting inside, and this is where they see all the donuts, and there's like this really stupid standoff between them with like Western music or some shit between them and like the CG donuts. Then the donuts start like flying at them, and they're fighting for a while. You know, like slapping them and punching them, and like hitting them with like frying pans, and like putting them in the microwave and stuff. One of them yells, "Winter's coming," and I was like, okay.
Ugh.
And I will mention, like, this movie did also have their own theme song, and the issue normally you know that I love a dumb movie theme song, but my problem is that it was like almost the only song that they played in the movie, and they played it like over and over again.
I love that
like without the words.
This and Slaw both had their
Yeah.
own like theme songs.
It's no
Amazing.
mercy, you know what I mean?
I
That
mean,
song.
nothing's going to top PG for short.
I mean,
Well, yeah,
um,
that's a totally different ballpark, honestly.
it was fun. I
have to
threw away
find-
my last.
I was gonna say I have to find the song from Slaw to put the episode.
I don't even think I realized that they had a song. Like, as soon as the credits came up, I turned it
Oh,
off.
you missed all the jokes.
Okay.
They hit
threw
all
away
of the jokes in the
like,
credits.
weren't they still bad though?
Oh, I mean, they weren't good, but they were there.
Well, I'm glad there's no redeeming it. I threw away my last like full notebook today, and the very first like thing that we had done, it was like back when we did the PG like screener or whatever, and I was like, aw.
Save it, sell it on eBay.
Gosh. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. Johnny and Howard are inside fighting the donuts. The cops show up, and they find Michelle hanging from the window and are essentially like, "What are you doing? Put your hands up. Get down." And she's like, "You guys, like, what are you talking about? I'm hanging from a window. I need help." And they're like, just being stupid. And she eventually
No,
falls
they're being
on the
cops.
ground. Well, you know.
No difference.
And Johnny and Howard essentially they like run out of the house, and they're like, "Watch out!" And one of the cops like immediately turns and shoots at them, and the other cop was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, he had a knife." And I
Again,
was like, "Oh my god!"
see my previous
yeah.
statement.
I mean, yeah, honestly. So then, I don't know if this is ever addressed at all, but like some of the donuts come out of the house.
They steal the
Somehow
cop
nobody sees them, even though they're like making all kinds of fucking noises, and they steal the cop car. But like, I don't think that ever comes back at all.
I feel like everything past the when they come running out of the house and he's like, "There's a murder in there," and the cop's like, "A murder?" They're like, "Wait, multiple murders?" They're like, "Yeah, at least 10," and he just goes like hauling ass in there. That was like the last thing I remember of this movie. I guess
The only thing,
besides
the only thing that,
them in bed at the end that lasts forever.
I mean, there's not that
Oh my
much.
God.
The only part of the movie that I chuckled at all was that part you just talked about, where like they were like, "Okay, what happened?" And they're like, "Well, she's murdered in there." And then he's like, "They're murderers," and she says, "No, yeah, there's like 10 of them." And then he says, "There's 10 murderers in there," and like, I don't know why, the way he said it and the fact that he's saying the phrase 10 murderers, like,
C. Thomas Howell
kind of made me laugh.
didn't come to play. He's bringing it.
So, and then he says, "We don't have time to wait for backup. We have to get in there." And so they run in, whatever. They also encounter donuts, which they fight. Johnny and everybody uses that opportunity to run away, so they leave. The old guy across the street, we do see his girlfriend get donutted. We assume that he also gets donutted.
What a word.
I hate to get donutted. Nutted by
I mean,
dough.
They kind of, ooh, I don't know about that. They kind of make it seem like maybe the donuts like pulled out her brains or something. Like, I don't know what was going on with that, but it did not look fun.
To be fair, nothing in this movie looks fun.
That's true.
mean, honestly.
Donutted.
um, so Johnny then suddenly realizes that his Uncle Luther is involved with everything. He's like, oh yeah, I totally forgot that my uncle made a reanimation serum. Which my question is like,
Yeah,
don't you have to have been animated to be reanimated in the first place?
that seems like
So
something
like,
that would slip your brain too. Like, oh yeah, my uncle created this reanimation serum.
Yeah. Oh, right.
yeah, very stupid. So they go back to the house and confront him. Um, Meanwhile, like we get like a really small scene, a short scene of like the donuts pulling up in the cop car on Veronica and the boyfriend. The boyfriend gets a French twist through the head, which could have been cool, but it looked really dumb. And Veronica like runs behind the car and gets eaten. Very stupid. So once they arrive back at Johnny's house, luckily, Uncle Luther has already created an antidote to the situation. And there's this really weird montage of them like getting weapons and trying out weapons for some reason, which the weapons are like a hockey stick and like a tennis racket. One of them has a super soaker that has the antidote in it, and then Uncle Luther has like a pole with a syringe at the end of it, because there's this long thing about how they're like arguing about whether you can just splash the donuts with the antidote or whether you have to inject them, and it's like really dumb.
So I'm thinking, I've been thinking and trying to figure out how to make this movie better, and
Yeah.
I think
More donuts.
yes, I think
At least a dozen more.
the
Maybe a
thing
baker's dozen.
you need to do is number one, hire Gary Busey to voice the donuts,
Right.
and like you need more of the uncle, and he needs to be like a good character actor, like somebody like you know how they had what's his name, Gomez Adams in Return of the Killer Tomatoes. Like you need somebody like that. Like he like the uncle's like the goofy character in the movie, but he's also like not great.
Yeah.
And I think you need like somebody playing that role to just take away from these terrible, unlikable teenagers.
Yeah.
Tom Green plays the
Oh my god.
the
Yes.
uncle.
I mean, fine. That's fine.
Done. I'm casting the
I
movie.
was trying to like when we first started talking about it, I was also trying to figure out a way that I could make this like good and watchable. But as I'm finding out with a lot of these, it's just like the food. If it's like a quote unquote horror food movie, but it's also a parody, they just like don't seem to work out.
We should
Like,
abolish parodies for movies.
uh,
They've been done
you
as
know,
good as they're gonna get.
I think so. I agree.
We
Yeah.
have Meet the Spartans already. We're good.
I'm trying to think actually if there's any parody movies that I've actually liked.
I mean, there's things.
Airplane.
I was gonna say there's things like
Well-
Pop Star and shit that I like that are kind of a parody, but as far as like the like, I don't really
Yeah.
like the scary movie movies or anything
No.
like that. So
Well,
Naked
I
Gun
guess-
is all you need.
Naked
I
Gun's
guess
fine.
I sort of
That's just
I
because of
guess I
Leslie
sort of
Nielsen.
was thinking more like horror parodies, not like all
Yeah.
genre. But
Oh, horror ones, no. There's nothing
Okay.
good.
like even there was that one movie that had Adam Scott and it was like a parody off of The Omen.
Oh, the Demon Child one or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and like even that one wasn't super great, and you know how much I love Adam Scott. So like it was fine, but it wasn't anything like I don't know. Anyway,
Little Devil, I think it was called. Little Evil.
maybe yeah. Little Evil sounds right. Yeah.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, essentially.
All right. Anyway, if this movie ends
So,
at some point, hopefully.
well,
Please.
okay, we already know that they have the antidote. They go back to the donut shop to basically fight the donuts. There's like a ton of donuts now. They're just like, for some reason they can fly now, and they're all just like spinning and flying in the air. And it looks really stupid. They're like fighting the donuts a bunch. the uncle is basically just like, oh, we don't have enough antidote to like do this. I need to go back to the lab and make some more. So he leaves. Howard also runs out of the donut shop for some reason that I don't know. And before he does, he's like, oh, I need to tell you something. And he confesses to Johnny that not only is he in love with Johnny's mom, but he's also sleeping with her.
So weird. Like, why is this necessary?
I don't know, because then Johnny's kind of like, what? What are you talking about? What? And then all of the donuts, like, just stopped floating for some reason. And I was like, what is even happening? I can't even, like, piece it together. So Uncle and Howard leave. Then the cops come in, and they're, like, shooting at the donuts and stuff. Michelle and Johnny basically go, they're like, we need to hide until we can get some more antidote. So they go back and hide in a storeroom. And there's like this whole stupid scene about Johnny is just like basically complaining about his life and Veronica and how he just wishes the donuts would eat him and kill him and this, that, and the other. And then she's like, Michelle's like, oh, I love you or whatever, maybe. I don't remember. And they decide that the way that they're going to stop all the donuts is that they're just going to blow up the donut shop.
I mean, we told
the
them,
Donut Kingdom.
We told them to do this at the beginning. You dummies
Right,
wouldn't listen to us.
She's kind of just like, how do we survive that? So she finds like, I don't know, a hole into the sewers or something, like in the back of the donut shop. And so he turns on the gas. Okay, mind you, there's that like one customer guy in the store and the two cops, and they're just gonna like blow it up and escape themselves. Like they do not give a shit that there's other people.
Was lost.
No. Because also we don't actually see that the cops have died, but we do see that the other customer is alive. Like we see him in the wreckage alive. So I'm like, what? So, yeah. So they blow up the donut shop. As the fire trucks come, Michelle and Johnny like pop out of the sewer or something, and they like kiss and make out. Then we cut to the next morning. They're in bed together, and Johnny is kind of like, so, like, what's going on now? Are we, like, friends with benefits? Like, do you want to be my girlfriend? It's, like, 20 fucking minutes.
This is, like, half the movie, at least.
Yeah, asks if, like, she wants to be his girlfriend. She's kind of, like, doing that thing where she's like, no, I don't think so. Whatever. Johnny's mom storms in and is like, I thought I asked you to mow the grass. I can't believe you. And then sees that Michelle is there, and she's just like really stoked that her son is
getting it,
sleeping with the girl that she chose for him or whatever. And then she's like, okay, well, it's so nice to see you. Like, make sure you mow the grass. Bye, and walks out. Then a donut appears outside the window and is like, rah!
Well, also before that, the girl whose name you've said 100 times that I already forgot is like, isn't it weird that she's probably going to go cheer up, like, your best friend that's fucking her at the hospital right now, and she's probably going to fuck him at the hospital, and then isn't it weird that they're about to fuck, and he's just like, yeah, that's weird. Anyway, are we going to fuck?
Yeah, they do this whole, like, weird thing, too, where they are, like, doing that joke where he's like, I don't know, whatever. It's just, like, weird because it ends and there's just, like, no resolution to anything. Like, they blew up the, like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, they blew up the donut shop and there's a donut in the window and a movie.
Well, and there's still all those donuts that, like, stole the cop car. Like, hello? I don't know. It's just fucking stupid.
If they make a sequel to this, it better be, like, those donuts in, like, Hawaii attacking people like they did with fucking Jack Frost. Just go as absurd as possible.
I just this is just not good.
Well, we still have one more week of Inhumane Witch.
You know what though? I know I hate to say this because I just hate to say it, but it kind of looks like maybe it might be okay because it sort of looks like more of like
it's like a noir,
like a sci-fi spoof. Kind of like how, what was that
Skeeto?
one? No, where the guy was a shark. Or not a shark. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Yes, or Skeeto.
You were thinking post-apocalyptic commando sharks?
Yes, I was.
Perfect film.
I meant Man Skeeto. Where Skeeto? Man Skeeto or Where Skeeto?
It's Where Skeeto.
Okay. Yeah, kind of
I
like that,
I
which
think
I enjoyed.
you're gonna be very wrong, and I have a feeling it's gonna be on par, if not worse than these. That's my guess. Maybe not worse than
It's,
Slaw, but maybe worse than uh, this garbage.
it's hard to say at this point.
Stephen King, come on the podcast. We will tell you all about the worst movies we've ever seen.
Some of them are yours, bro.
At least Cell.
Oh my god, I forgot about
I'll fucking
Cell.
back Dreamcatcher
No.
solely for Mark Wahlberg's perfect performance. Was that Mark Wahlberg or was that a Donnie?
No,
No.
Donnie.
I mean,
I
what's
was
the
like,
difference?
Wait, coincidentally, we were talking about him in the last episode too, so it's hard to tell.
One of them
It's
could have stopped 9/11 from happening and didn't. So,
yeah, rude.
and one of them is
Unbelievable.
also with Jenny McCarthy, who's a weird anti-vaxxer. So,
Oh no.
all right, this is bad. Let's never do this movie again.
I'm so sad.
Yeah.
This was I can't like figure out if I hadn't watched these movies back to back, if it would have made this movie worse or better. But I feel like all the farts got into my brain, and I can't I just can't deal with anything. You know what
Believe me, separating them does not make it better.
Yeah, just keep all those farts in your brain.
Yeah,
I mean?
it's worked out pretty well for me.
If there's farts in the next one, I don't.
There's
know
no
what
way
I
there's
don't know
not.
what
If it's a thing about like food, there's gonna be at least one very bad fart joke in it. There has to be.
I'll respect them if they don't.
I don't think you're gonna respect them either way.
I mean, it's about if no one's seen the Inhuman Witch or like don't know, it's like a sloppy Joe. So like, there's no way there's no farts. You know what I'm saying?
The Inhuman Witch. I mean, Inhuman Witch has a just barely better score than Slaw and Attack of the Killer Donuts. Well, it's got at least a point higher than Donuts, but it's like barely bigger than Slaw. So it's not great.
Yeah. I'm gonna be glad when this. Well, maybe not. Who knows what happens?
What
after
horrors
the
await?
food. Yeah.
We'll do something fun at least for the fourth week,
Yeah, I can't.
and then jump immediately into something bad, probably.
I don't hope it's not Munchie or whatever the hell that
Oh,
was.
that movie's so good.
I don't like the creature. He looks terrifying.
How could you not like Munchie?
He looks so scary.
We should just do the
Oh.
entire Ghoulies franchise. Because
I've only seen the
4 looks
first one.
real bad.
And like, to be honest, I wasn't really paying attention, so
I mean, it's just like it's a Gremlins ripoff. But they come out of the toilet, so cinema.
They're
One
also,
and two
like-
rule.
3,
Oh,
the
okay.
goes to college is very good.
I need to watch that one.
It's I think on Tubi's might be where I watched it, but I looked up and I realized there was a 4th one and that Jim Wynorski did it, and it has some pretty terrible MS Paint looking poster. So
Oh,
I assume
jeez.
it's not great. All right, Katie, did you save any news?
I saved one news, and it's that Eli Roth has made a documentary about sharks that will be airing on Discovery Plus.
You know,
And-
I will say this is
He should
probably
make a documentary about him getting eaten by sharks.
well. Is it about like shark fins, like the? Because I know the poster for it was like a shark with the fin cut off, and I assumed he was making a thing about like, the kind of like horrors of like where they cut off the shark fin for shark fin soup, and I was like, you know what, I good on him, I guess. But if that's not what it's about, and it's just about sharks, then Eli Roth, go away.
I honestly didn't look that hard into it, but do I think that he would direct a movie about shark torture, certainly.
Well, because I didn't see the article. I've gotten ads for like with the poster
Oh.
for it.
Is it called Finn?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Eli Roth exposes the horrors of the shark fin trade. It's art.
I bet
there
it's
is
just. I
a
bet he just made. I bet
trailer.
he just used footage from Hostel and just like CGI'd a shark over the person.
Fueled by his fascination, fear, and love of sharks, award-winning filmmaker Eli Roth, in his first documentary, travels the globe, exposing the horrors
Exploding
and
sharks.
environmental devastation of the shark fin trade. I like how they're making it seem like Eli Roth like discovered the shark fin trade instead of like it's just been
Even though
a
Gordon
really
Ramsay
bad-
did like a fucking documentary about it years ago.
yeah, and even though it's like one of the most terrible things in like the conservation like not community, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
get over yourself, bro.
Did either of you watch the Halloween trailer?
No.
Yes.
What did you think, Kit? I haven't watched it yet. I mean, I'll watch it whenever it comes to home video or whatever, like streaming. But all I saw immediately was everyone like, "Wow, this seems real spoilery." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll wait."
Yeah.
No, I don't know. He murders a shitload of people in it. That looks pretty dope. But
Oh.
Does he drop teeth to scare people like in the other one? Because that was
sadly,
sick.
no.
Gross.
Halloween is such a weird franchise for people to get upset about spoilers for. Like, who gives a shit? None of it makes any fucking sense. As a whole
Right?
franchise, it's never made a lick of fucking sense. That does not matter what the plot is.
My issue is I didn't want to be spoiled and see Paul Rudd showing up in it, because then I'd be real mad.
Just watch the first like 15 seconds where he kills like
All
30
the firemen.
firefighters.
That's the only thing I
Yeah.
saw, like in people's stories. That's like the only thing I saw, because that was what I shared I tweeted that I'd be more intrigued to see it if he just brought in more true crime podcasters instead of firemen that he was killing, because firemen don't deserve that. But you know,
Yeah.
most of those true
If it
crime
had been cops, they should have had a bunch of cops going
Yeah.
in the house.
Yeah, I agree. I guess they did that in the other one though. That was like that whole bus full of fucking
Just do it again.
yeah. Every time it should just be
Yeah.
Michael Myers instead of killing random people, just bursting into police stations.
Redoing the scene from Terminator, the LAPD.
I'm in. There were a couple things they announced coming to home video finally. Near Dark's finally getting a fucking Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited because they're gonna have it on Shudder, so I can finally watch it.
Yeah, I might buy that
Only-
like whenever it comes out.
Only took a couple months of me complaining.
They announced Vestron is releasing a Blu-ray of Sundown: The Vampire in Retreat.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that was
thought
also
Vestron
thanks
died.
to us.
Yeah, I did too. I hadn't seen something. I'd never see shit about Vestron, so that was kind of exciting. It's like Severin, Vinegar Syndrome, and Arrow are like the three I always see releasing shit. So
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg is doing his damnedest to prevent a Jaws reboot, like the king he is. I feel like there was like something that
Demons 1 and 2
Yeah,
getting
I saw
American
that.
Blu-ray release.
Vinegar Syndrome is doing a 4K of Flesh for Frankenstein. Yeah, there was like some story that I meant to bring up from like last week, and now I can't remember what it was. I was trying to like flip through Bloody Disgusting real quick, and I'm not seeing it. Oh well. I'm sure it was very important, whatever it was, and you'll never know.
About how sick the Forever Purge is going to be.
You know what? I have still not seen any of the Purge movies or the TV show, and I need to.
I haven't either.
The movies are good. I don't know about the TV series.
I remember, like, when we had Vic and KW on, I think them talking about it. I could be equating that with somebody else, but I feel like somebody we had on talk about how, like, the TV show being good, so... But it's just one of those things where it's like, almost every time I'm like, I should watch those. I'm like, well, there's a movie coming out soon, so I'll just wait and watch all of them, but I just never do. It's basically what happened once Fast and Furious started getting, because like the first like maybe 3 Fast and Furious movies, I was just like, I don't give a fuck about cars. Like, I don't know why I would ever
Yeah.
watch this. And then all of a sudden they're just like, well, The Rock's in this, and they're like driving across like fucking icebergs somehow and like shit like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah. Oh, it's dope now. Okay.
Now they're like, we're gonna cross over with Jurassic Park. Like,
I want that so bad.
same.
I need it.
Just like cross over every fucking franchise with Fast and Furious
Yes.
that like you can. Just give me Vin Diesel punching a fucking pterodactyl out of the sky.
Next Halloween movie.
Yes.
Fast and Furious Halloween.
Michael Myers just fucking slowly walking towards a Fast and Furious car that's driving away and somehow catching up with them. Alright. Anybody want to talk about any stuff that they watched that they didn't say in the last episode?
No.
Same. 90 Day Fiance.
Let's see. I watched a bunch of Batman stuff again. I started watching, is it called The Brave and the Bold?
Yeah.
It was okay.
You have to have like a deep knowledge of like old Batman stuff for a lot of that stuff to make sense, but
Well, I think the thing that I like about it is that unlike with most of the other series like that, you do get every single episode pretty much he teams up with somebody else, or there's like another maybe like a lesser note. It's not just like
yeah, it's not like the
fucking
Joker
Flash
and
or
the
Green
Penguin
Arrow.
or fucking
Yeah. Blue Beetle's in there, and like some other people, Elongated Man, plus, and so like that aspect of it I thought was like really fun because I enjoy seeing like those new like smaller characters. And the other thing is that like it doesn't really take place in Gotham. Like Batman's going everywhere. He's going to different
Yeah,
planets.
Star
He's like
City
doing
and
all
everything.
kinds of shit. Yeah, which I enjoy, but it's kind of a little goofy. Like
Yeah, it's
Um,
like it's not necessarily like the 66 Batman TV show, but it's very kind of comparative because it's like it's not the Dark Knight, it's like the Bright Knight, like Adam West would always call himself. Like it's like, it's not dark stories, it's like kind of very
No,
kid friendly.
Yeah, right, exactly. I was gonna say like if you are, yeah, it is very kid friendly. So like not, it just like wasn't really what I was in the mood for, honestly. But I did watch like the first season and like it was fine.
Did-
Like I would put it on.
Diedrich Bader killing it.
I when Batman first shows up, I was like, I didn't recognize the voice, and then I was like, I looked it up, and I was like, dang, okay. Like I tweeted about it. I would not envision him as Batman, but like I liked it, because he voices him in something else too.
Probably maybe like another movie, maybe, I don't know.
I can't remember, but then I also watched The Batman. I watched that whole thing, which I always kind of avoided because like the art style's not really my thing. They also, one of the things that I do like about all the different Batman animated stuff, which is why I will continue my best to watch all of it, is that they normally like redesign the characters.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like, I have a lot of fun with that. The Batman is not my favorite versions of most of the characters. Like, I think a lot of them look pretty stupid. But
I think that's another one though, like the voice cast like makes up for it for me.
yeah.
Because like it's like that's one of the ones where they don't have, I don't think they have like really big names doing anybody, so it's all kind of like people whose like entire career is just like cartoons. And
Yeah.
it's like, and it's also kind of like a darker show, like it leans more into the animated series feel wise, but maybe not look wise. Like it is kind of bright look wise, but like storyline wise, it gets pretty dark.
It is like a pretty good mix of like, not that they were trying, but like kind of like a mix of like the original and what is it? I always forget. Brave and the Bold,
Yeah.
because it is a little bit more serious, but you do also have it like the iteration of Barbara Batgirl that we get in this one, where she's just like buddy, but like her and Robin are like like making fun of each other all the time, and also making fun of Batman, and they're like going out together, like just the two of them, and like their relationship in the Batman is probably like my favorite thing about it. I thought it
Is
was incredibly sweet.
is that the series that has like the episode or maybe two episodes where basically everybody but Batman is turned into like a weird zombie version of themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That it
That
was
episode's
pretty
really
good.
good.
So I watched like all of that, and then in like the fourth season of that show, it kind of took a turn for me because I'm pretty sure I'm not getting yeah. It's when Batman like joins the Justice League, so then we start getting like him with Superman and him with the
Yeah.
Flash, which I'm just like not as interested in, so I sort of stopped watching. But and then I also rewatched Mask of the Phantasm because I
Perfect
wanted to
movie.
watch that Batman vs Dracula, but it's not on HBO Max, even though they have like almost everything else. So
Unbelievable.
I know I'm mad about it.
All right. Shout outs. Katie, you already said yours from last week, so.
Yeah, I'll just keep going. So then I also, like, after I finished the Batman and all that other stuff, I finally started the Harley Quinn animated series on HBO Max. And wow, have I really been sleeping on it. It is, I had no idea, I didn't know anything about it, right? Except for like, I've seen it a lot. It's like a very bright, it's got that like bright neon, whatever. I would say the animation is kind of like different. I
It,
don't know.
it looks
Anyways,
like a mix of comic book and anime-ish, but not like sort of on
I
its
was
own.
yeah, because I was gonna say like it kind of reminds me, if we're talking just animation style, a little bit more of like Young Justice, but more simple.
Yeah.
And so I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know that it was like rated mature, but it is like insane. It's like really graphic. There's like broken bones. They're dropping the F bomb. They're like it's literally insane. Definitely not for children. I feel like I've only watched like half of the first season, and I feel like sometimes it gets to be a little too much. Like sometimes I feel like it's edgy, like they try too hard for it to be edgy for edgy's sake. But like overall, I really like it. Poison Ivy is one of the main characters, of course, so I love her, and it is really funny because everybody, instead of being like a Batman villain, it's just like they're also just normal people. So it's like a really interesting take. So if you are, and it also really helps, like if you've watched all the other Batman stuff, this is just like so different. And I feel like the humor kind of comes from how serious Batman normally is. You know what I mean? So like
Right.
it helps to be a Batman fan, but I absolutely recommend
It's
it. It's a blast.
it's crazy to me how DC can just continue to like always do like animated shit where they kind of like reinvent themselves and do something great like every time, and
Yeah,
then their live action movies are just unbearable
the
trash.
worst.
Like
Yeah,
since at least since like the '90s, the
yeah, I
just
agree. I
yeah,
don't know.
all bad.
Really sucks if you're a DC fan who like doesn't like animated stuff, because honestly, the some of the DC animated stuff is like the best shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people don't like cartoons, so
Well, they should get over themselves. Watch Beavis and
I
Butthead do America.
that's right.
Kit, shout out.
I'm gonna say Taskmaster,
Yeah.
a British game show where they have 5 comedians on, and the Taskmaster gives them a seemingly simple task to complete, and they either have to do it like the fastest or best.
I think they did like an American version of that. That like
They did,
it
and
was
I heard it was
terrible.
very bad.
Because like
I
as
have
you
not watched.
like I was like that sounds really familiar, and like I remember being like this is fine, like at least the American version. I was like this is fine, but it's also like the show could be 8 minutes where it's just they have the task and the episode's done. Like doing the same shit over and over again was not a good idea, but
Like what kind of task?
it would be shit where it would be like you have to like I don't know, like throw 8 playing cards and like, hit this. It's just stupid shit like that. It's usually like, well, go ahead, Kit. You've been watching the.
So there's one where it's like they walk into a room and they read the note and it's like, eat this egg the fastest, and it's just an egg sitting there in the cup, and all of them are like how? What the fuck? And so a couple of them are like, all right, well, I'm gonna go take it into the kitchen and I'm gonna fry up the egg or whatever. One guy was like, well, I'm definitely gonna lose this, so he walks back into the room and he has like a bunch of sausage and he's like scrambled up the eggs and made it really nice and stuff. He's like, I'm gonna lose, so I might as well make a meal out of it. And then one guy just looked at it and he just cracks the egg open into the cup and just shoots it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Ugh,
all right, done.
gross.
So shit like that, or pop like 40 balloons the fastest, but you can't use your hands.
Yeah, I think I remember that being on like the US one. Like the US one did a lot of dumb shit where it would be like, here's this wine glass and there's wine on the other side, but you can't use your hands, so get all the wine in this wine glass and then get it back to the other side of the studio. Like just dumb shit like that.
It's really fascinating to see how people's brains work.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
one is, you have to make it from where you're standing over to this desk, but you can't take a step. So one guy's immediate reaction is he just drops onto the ground and starts rolling. And then someone else decides like, oh, well, we're on a track. I'm going to hop on a hurdle and just like walk on the hurdle. Like that's not taking a step.
So weird.
It's so good.
Interesting.
What's that on?
But-
Netflix?
They're all on YouTube.
Oh,
They've got
okay.
10 seasons up on YouTube.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna watch that. Because I remember, like, the US one, I was like, this is an interesting idea, but, like, the host was bad, and, like, the Americans are bad, so...
Oh,
Yeah,
the
boo,
hosts on the
America.
British one are great. A good entry point, season 7, I think, is the best one. It's got the best cast of comedians.
Yeah.
And they are the most, like, combative with each other.
I'm in.
Highly recommend.
I meant to do this as my shout-out in the last episode and forgot, but I'm gonna shout out again our friends and Girl That's Scary that just got picked up by Dread Central.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So good for them. They deserve it.
Yeah.
For
That's
sure.
so rad.
Yeah. Also, Conan O'Brien leaving late night was a bummer
pour
for
one
me
out.
because that dude like shaped my comedy sense or my sense of like humor and shit pretty much forever. Because
For so long.
yeah, like I remember him on SNL. I remember like I've obviously his Simpsons episodes, and then I used to like.
Yep.
God, I fucking loved his late night show. It's so good.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so absurd. But he's doing.
Walk
He's
the Texas Ranger lever.
Oh my god, it's the fucking funniest thing every time. I like because it's all like that show was so fucking stupid, and like any clip you pull from it is just like absurd.
Incredible.
And it's like
Out of context, it's amazing.
you could just like do that joke every time, and every time it's fucking funny.
I don't remember which episode it was, but he just did it like 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
He like just got it. So he's like spinning around in the chair and doing like action moves to pull it. Oh, it's so good.
That anytime Paul Rudd would be on there and do like the fucking Back and Me clip.
Amazing.
Yes.
So good. So Conan, I know you're listening. Shout out to you, buddy.
Yes.
All right, next week Inhuman Witch. It's
Well, hopefully.
I think on Tubi. I don't know. Who cares? It's gonna be bad. Don't watch it.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion. You can join our Patreon to get bonus episodes and stuff like that. All of the USBs to people in America got sent out today, as of when we recorded this. So like 2 weeks from now when you're listening to it. So most people probably have it already, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so.
People in Australia and UK and Canada, you have to wait because I don't understand your mailing system or your addresses having letters and numbers in the zip code.
Yeah.
Also, it's going
what's
to be
up with
expensive,
that?
so I'm waiting. You can buy shirts and beach towels and probably a shower curtain at some point in our new Teespring shop. And then we still have the tie-dye shirts and all that shit in like the storefront to your shop. All those are in the links in our Instagram bio and my Twitter bio and all that shit.
Same.
Leave us a rating and review on iTunes. Tell us your favorite killer blank movie title. And it's probably, I'm going to assume, Attack of the Killer Blob.
I thought you were going to say The Killer Butt.
That should be
Attack of the Killer Butt.
Attack of the Killer Blob Butt.
Butt Blob.
All right. Follow us on Instagram.
Blob crack.
I knew somebody was going to say it. Follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face. Listen to my other podcast, Night Cape Movie Club. I hope you... I don't know.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, I hope you spaghetti, but marinara.
Oh.
I don't know. Spaghetti sounded really good.